Well, howdy from Nashville, y'all. Rüdrani Devi, the happiness lady, here with another tool from Access Consciousness. Okay, and also from my book, Choosing Happiness. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd, I don't have a banner running? Give me just a minute, got to fix that. Well, it's not a banner, but these tools are all in my book called Choosing Happiness. There it is, an uncommon way to find joy in your life. And they're very simple, pragmatic tools. And that's what I love so much about Access, because these tools are so simple that you think they can't possibly work. But if you were willing to actually give it a shot, I mean, what do you got to lose? Don't cost you nothing. Um, it could help you navigate your life in a way that is hmm, more ease for you. Would you like that? Yeah. So this tool is live as the question, not as the answer. Now, I'm a very curious individual. I'm always living as the question. If I do this, then will it create and generate more? And I wrote a little piece down here. It's basically, what if you could give up the presumption of how things are gonna turn out, and instead be curious of what else you could create beyond what this reality tells you? It all starts with a question. So, what do I mean by that? Well, curiosity is living in the question when you're always seeking, you're always searching. And if you were to put it out there, question, what will my life be like in 5 years if I choose this, and then get the energy of it? Have you noticed that, like, when you get excited about something in your world and your body literally lights up? I know for me, when I was a little girl, it was horses. Every time I would see a horse, I mean, my whole body would dance. It was like I was wagging the tail. And that's what it is. When you're living as the question, you're inviting those energies to come to you. I was talking to a lovely lady today, uh, co-founder of Green Door Life, Lisa, and I was telling her about Access Bars and also about Access Foundation. And these are two classes. The bars class is actually a prerequisite, a doorway for all these other classes. And I know that when I actually chose it, I was like, well, what will my life be like in 5 years if I chose this class? And then I allowed myself to sense that energy. And instead of having to have the answer of what it was going to look like, I just followed my knowing in that energy. Because I'll tell you what, folks, it never shows up the way you think it's gonna. And so it was one of those things where this bars class appeared. I knew stuff about it. I'd had it run on me before. It's 32 points on the head that when you touch them in certain groupings, it's like a delete button. It gets rid of the lower frequencies. I'm sorry, I've got my retainer in, y'all. Of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that keep you stuck. And what if you could just be in that place right now of perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving? Hey, what will my life be like in 5 years? That's the question. You put it out there, and then you follow your knowing. And for me, the knowing was like the tail wagging the dog. You've heard me say this before if you've been following me. And so here I'm talking to Lisa, and I'm telling her about this class. And I said, it's so amazing because beyond that, it ups the ante to your psychic sensitivities and capacities beyond the beyonds. I mean, I knew that I was psychic before, and some people would rather say that I'm psycho, and they wouldn't be wrong either. I am a little crazy. But what I did is I followed my knowing. I took that class, and, it wasn't an answer. It wasn't an answer all my problems. It was just a knowingness that it was going to create. And what did it create? I never dreamed I would have an access business. At the time, I was an executive producer. I represented lots of different video directors. And, I was paying for peace, love, and understanding classes and all the stuff. But when these tools came along, it's like I dropped everything else because these tools were actually working for me consistently. So here again, let me get back to the story about Lisa and I. I'm telling her about the bars and about how it ups the ante and makes you more psychic than even you knew. Let me hydrate. Defiance Fuel, you should really sponsor me. I drink 3 of these a day. So good. They got magnesium and potassium in them, keep you from cramping and all this stuff. Boy, my ADD is kicking in. And as I was telling her about it, I could perceive, her eyes were lighting up. She's cute as a button anyway. And I said, I can tell you getting excited. I said, you're intuitive. You know what's going to work for you. Intuitively know. And when we tap into our bodies, they're so brilliant. They're smarter than we are, y'all. Your body will always tell you. It's like when you walk into a room and you feel heavy and you can perceive that some stuff went down before you walked in. Maybe somebody had an argument or something along the lines or something, that nature. And so you just want to back out of the room. Or maybe, you keep it short. You don't stay for long. The real estate has been tainted or whatever you might call it. Well, that's trusting your knowing. And it can go the other way as well. So she's planning on coming to Nashville. And I said, well, listen, I know that your co-founder, Shannon, would love to take this class as well. We've just not been able to get it on the books for her. And I'm happy to teach it to just the two of you if you'd like. Or I will definitely post it when I create that class so you guys could consider it as well. Why would you want to take a bars class, you ask? Well, how would you like to have more ease in your world? And it may not even speak to you, but if you've been listening for this long, maybe it's something you want to consider. Maybe you're just as crazy as I am. I don't know. So that's a couple of examples. Living as a question is also that space of not needing the answer, that need to have what's right and true or perfect or what this reality tells you it should look like. Peeps, it never, ever looks like what I think it's going to. I mean, seriously, now I started out with just a bars business because if you take 3 bars classes from 3 different facilitators, then you actually can facilitate the class. Now, you take it from one, you can actually hang a shingle and start, facilitating for people. And what's so cool about it is, and this is the part that has helped me the most, if I have any shared thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are limiting me with this person that is on the table, it's like I'm also getting a session because it's a delete button for both of us. How cool is that, right? So I started out with that. And then the question was, do I take this further? I've already got this really lucrative business over here, making 6 figures, in the film industry. But the film industry was starting to change. People were finding that they could make videos. Well, not with iPhones just yet, but it was coming. We had little high-8 cameras. And so directors that would have never been discovered, or videographers or, filmmakers, whatever you want to say, they didn't have the resources to create something, like a music video until these other, technology just keeps on pumping it out. And so all of a sudden, the film industry was suffering a little. I mean, unless you were one of the top honchos, the label wasn't going to pay for a music video for you. And then all of a sudden we got saturated with all these other videos. So my world was changing quickly. And I thought, well, do I get into this other business of kind of being like a life coach and all the things? And that's when I had to ask the question, what's going to create for me? And what actually got me to Access was taking classes at the National Institute of Health in Boulder, Colorado, where I learned all these other modalities. Now, was it a waste of time that I learned them? No. Everything that I've ever been or done in my life has gotten me to this point. And it was because I was curious. It was because I was living as the question. And although I barely do any of these other modalities at all, because I was so curious and I kept asking the universe to show me more, not expecting to actually hear the words, you must, do Access classes. But it just kept pointing to new modalities. I mean, I still do tuning fork. I did some tuning fork therapy on a client today. I still use my essential oils. I have my essential oil company. the Devi, Devi Essentials, actually. Let me show you one of my girls. Isn't she cute? You can find her on Etsy and on my site. This one's release. I don't know if you guys have anything you're trying to release from your body, but it's like an energetic release. Kind of helps you get more centered. You would think it would be the opposite, you know. And it also, if you've got energies in your field, if you all speak energy field, it will also help eliminate and eradicate that, dissipate, dilute it, that kind of thing. So here I was learning all these other modalities. I was a meditation teacher, a yoga teacher for a brief moment, rehydrate. And what ended up happening was I got invited by my chiropractor friend to see someone channel. And that's how I discovered the bars, because there was a woman there that I ended up trading sessions with. I would do readings for her and she would run my bars. So years later, I came looking for it. I thought, you know, what was that thing? Because she ended up moving. We ended up not, you know, seeing, I don't even remember her name, but thank you so much, lady, that I don't remember, that introduced me to Access Bars and to the chiropractor that introduced me to Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, that, you know, he's the reason why I'm even talking to y'all right now. Thank you, Gary. But I was ready, and it was congruent with that energy of my question, of my ask, if you want to put it that way. I was like, hey, what was that thing? And if I can locate it, if I can find it, you know, would it be a contribution? And again, my body lit up. I wasn't getting an answer other than my body was saying, yes, 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 yes. So if you want an answer, let's go with that, right? And at this time, in that time, the internets was just getting going. Google was a new thing, y'all. I guess I just dated myself. That's okay. I don't mind. So anyway, I got online. And the funny part was I was actually teaching a tapping class. I'd gotten certified in tapping also. I don't know if you guys know about tapping, but you can Google that as well. And it's an excellent modality. And I only had one person sign up. So I was like, well, that's unusual, because my classes were usually packed. You know, I'm thinking everybody wanted to know about tapping. It was like the new thing, or wasn't new, but I was introducing it to a different audience. And then I found this bars class, and it happened to be on the day of my tapping class. So as the question, hey, if I cancel facilitating my tapping class and I go and I take this other class, bars, what could that create? And again, all this energy. And then I started Googling the bars, and different facilitators popped up, and there wasn't a whole lot, but it was enough for me to know, hey, I didn't conclude. I just asked, and then it showed up. Ask and you shall receive. It's hidden so far in the Bible that most people don't even know it exists. And a lot of people don't even think they can ask or live as a question. They don't feel worthy. Have you heard that one before? It's kind of weird, isn't it? So by all means, don't try this tool at all. But my invitation to you would be, be curious. Put the question out there. Be that question. Don't look for an answer. Allow the universe to show you, and it will. The dog wagging the tail, you will know. You all have this psychic sensitivity. I promise you. It's there if you're willing to be present and to tap in. Even when you're as ADD, ADHD, and, you know, on the spectrum of autism like me, you know, I can get distracted. But what I found is if I live as the question and I let it go, and I don't just, something always shows up. Hey, you know, universe, show me something beautiful today. Ask and you shall receive. So give it a try, y'all. So thank you so much for joining me for this little tool. Live as a question, not as the answer. If you perceive that someone could benefit from this little conversation I had with myself, please share with them. And if you want to be alerted every time I get on YouTube live with these different magical tools, or when I do my meditation Wednesdays, although some of you may have noticed I did not do it last Wednesday. I had a lot going on. I did my meditation in the morning, but I didn't do my live one with you guys. So anyway, all that said, if you click the subscribe button, you'll know when I'm going on live. And if you got any questions or comments or anything of that nature, put them in the chat. I look at everything. And a week from this Friday, I will have a little 30-minute clarity call, Zoom call, about this particular tool. Live as a question, not as the answer. So if you're interested in that, we'll have all the links below. And until next time, y'all, thank you so much for joining me. Ciao, ciao for now.